All right, so welcome back everybody to part 2 of our DIY floating stair build. All right, so assuming y'all can hear me over the rain that's battering against the roof here, we're in the midst of a tropical storm right now. I want to interrupt this show real quick to make a quick mention to Vevor. They sponsored a tool for this particular build here. Actually, almost all the majority of the power tools that you're going to see me work with in this episode is from this company right here. So a lot of y'all have seen these types of saws, but maybe not in this form right here. This is what's called a portaband or portable band saw. So as you can see, it's got a metal cutting blade right here, a band blade, that's why they're called portabands. And the cool thing about this one is it's got a stand right here with a clamp much like a metal chop saw does, or you can unbolt this right here, completely remove it. You're gonna see me do that here coming up in just a few minutes. And you can use this as a portable cutoff saw. It'll cut material 5 by 5 inches when you're doing a straight cut. A little less whenever you start using the function to tilt this. It cuts up to 45-degree angles, just like your chop saw does. What I absolutely love about this, it cuts far quicker than my DeWalt chop saw. So much quieter. I don't even need hearing protection for this. Doesn't throw sparks everywhere or all that nasty powdered grit that chop saws typically do. So if you want to check out more about this or any of the tools that you see me use in today's episode, links are down in the description. And a huge shout out to this company. It's because of their tools that they have sponsored me over the last many months that I'm able to do builds like this. By the way, you already seen a sneak peek here. This is what we're building in this episode. Holy smokes, that's actually quick. Way quicker than the DeWalt. Let me zoom in and show you how quick that's cutting. Okay, I really like that. It comes with 2 blades too, by the way, and the price is killer. I'll put a link down in the description. Vevor's also doing a shop sale right now. Y'all have heard me talk about that. So if you're looking for any shop tools, they got a pretty big sale going on for the rest of November. This is gonna be sweet. I already like this 10 times better than that DeWalt chop saw. Holy smokes, man. That is so much quicker than my chop saw. That's awesome. All right, so I'm not sure how many people are actually watching this to build their own stairs, but it's worth mentioning a few good points. And keep in mind throughout this build, based on what you're building to, whether it's a true second story with living quarters, whether it's a loft, whether it's open attic space, all has different rules. Different states have rules, different local codes. Just keep all that in mind. Take what I say with a grain of salt. But one code that I have to watch and honor here is a first floor head height rule, which happens to be 6 feet 8 inches. You'll notice that's the same height that you typically get with a door opening, interior door itself. So this post that I just welded on is actually going to go down and make contact with the concrete slab itself. So all I did was measured from the bottom of this post, because this is all getting flipped upside down to 6 feet. I did 8.5 inches. Made a line right here. Now I'm going to put me a brace in. I can't just put a 45 brace and run on down like this, which would give me a little extra strength, but we're working with thick steel here because the brace itself would be too low. When this is all flipped over, you could potentially hit that with your head and it would not follow code. So now that I have my line at 6 feet 8.5 inches, I'm just taking a scrap piece of wood here. I have an idea where I want my brace to stop. All right, I'm just going to mark me a line and make me a template right here to figure out my angles. Now I can go transfer some measurements and angles real quick to my steel that I'm gonna cut. Now because I've got to cut some pretty wild angles here, steeper angles than most chop saws and bandsaw stands like this will go to, I'm gonna have to hand cut them. All right, so the other end has enough, a shallow enough angle. I think I'll be able to cut it with this tool, which would be a whole lot easier on me. They just gonna tease him. I have a ton of these plates that I'm cutting to support the underneath sides of the treads. We'll wind up drilling holes in these and lag bolting the treads in. And oh my goodness, this is 3/8 inch thick steel, 8 inches wide. I can't brag enough about this plasma cutter that y'all seen me get a while back. I couldn't imagine cutting this thick of steel with as many pieces as I have to do, a ton of them, with like an angle grinder or something. Well, as life often does, it's thrown me a change of events. So I was planning on this episode being the landing platform and install, but as you maybe can hear banging against the door here on the outside, now tropical storm Nicole is barreling down on us. We're getting the first band right now. It's supposed to pick up as we go throughout the day and into the night. So long story short, I'm getting rain for 2 solid days, and I had to do storm preparations yesterday. So that puts me, well, kind of 3 days behind, and I can't carry all this outside to do all my prep work and painting. So how we're gonna wrap this episode up, I have a ton of welding to do. That's something I can do inside today while it's storming outside. So I'm gonna finish welding all this out, and then I guess we're gonna have to wrap this episode up as well, you know, rough metal work, mock-up, something like that. All right, well, I'm fully welded out. I'm as far as I can go without taking this stuff down and carrying it outside, where I'm going to do a final kind of grind down and paint prep, so to speak. Now, because I've tried to save a lot of money and got like I-beams that's been outside and rusted and things like that, I have some pitting and a lot of work to do, but it saved me a ton of money doing it this way. So long story short, next episode, we'll get everything outside after this tropical storm's passed in the next couple of days, knock it all down with a wire wheel, sand down any high spots, all the splatter from the welding, everything we don't want to see through paint. Then we'll have to do some Bondo work, some body filler work, some sandable primer, and get the metal as good of a shape as we can get it in. But as far as the beam itself, that's going to be a big focal point of the stairs, and when you walk in the house, I want to make for sure that I get all that prepped as good as I can, painted up nicely, and I don't really want to see many blemishes through. That's going to take a ton of work to get raw steel like this to a good usable finish. So sadly, hey, the storm set me back a few days. Nothing I can do about that. Again, thankful for the rain. So I don't know when I'll have the next episode out, but it'll be a good one. Paint, prep, and we should be installing this in that episode as well. I have to get a few, well, very strong guys out here to help me, because this piece right here alone weighs several hundred pounds. It's going to take a minimum of 4 guys to get it in the house. So that'll be a fun episode. Everything will start looking good. We'll go get it installed and hopefully have all this bolted together in the house. Get our first wood platform on. Heck, we may even make it putting the stairs in. Then we can move on to railings, which is going to be a huge project in and of itself. All right, me and Ruger's going to ride out the rest of this tropical storm. We'll catch y'all in the next video.